What's up, you guys? Happy Tuesday. Hope you are doing great. As always, it is fantastic to be here with you. My name is Kyle Kurzhal, and I like to describe myself as your go-to guy for AI and automation to help you get back your time, grow your business, grow your investing, whatever it is that you're doing. I've done this for over 11 years now, particularly software engineering. And so this is my chance to give back to you guys. Whether you are a complete beginner in terms of automation and AI, or whether maybe you've been around a little while and you're just trying to figure out some specific solution to a problem that you're running into, this time is for you to be able to come and ask your questions. So as always, I am again excited to be here. Tonight, we are going to be getting into our usual Tuesday evenings where we do a review of recent AI news. We take a look at tools. Tonight, we're going to be taking a look at OpenAI's new Codex tool and see what it can really do. And then obviously, we also answer questions throughout the session. So whenever you have questions, I want you to do something for me. Drop your questions in the chat. I take pauses throughout the articles, throughout whatever tool I'm working on to see what it is that you're curious to know more about. You could also just drop comments in there. That's fine too, but I'm here to answer your questions. So drop those questions in the chat. If you happen to have a question that is too big for the chat and you just don't want to have to type in multiple messages, I have another solution here for you. So I'm going to pop this into the chat on YouTube, and then it should also already be there on Facebook. But I have this form that you can go ahead and submit a longer question to. You have to submit a little bit of additional information on it as well. But I see that come in live on my side in a spreadsheet, and so I also check that throughout the live stream. So whatever is easiest for you to get your question to me, use that method. I'll be checking all those places. Now, one other thing that we have been doing lately, because I still have books to give away, is I've been giving away copies of Alex Hormozi's book, $100 Million Money Models. I am giving up to 9 copies, giving away up to 9 copies during this session, or whatever, however many sessions it takes to get rid of all 9 copies. I've already paid for the book. You just pay for the shipping and it gets sent straight to your address. You're not paying that to me. You're paying that to Alex's company, and he ships it straight to you. So if that is something that you're interested in, if you've got a friend, family member, business partner, whatever, who would find it valuable to have this book, to learn about how to stack up a money model for your business to make it more profitable, to provide more value for your customers, your clients, then you definitely want to take advantage of this. I'm going to pop the link for that inside of the chat here on YouTube. And then I'm going to put it on Facebook as well in the chat. Excuse me, guys. That link is only available during this live stream. So if you don't go submit at that link during this live stream before I do this, at the end, I do this, I didn't pull up the screen here. You can also use this QR code. I do this giveaway around 7 o'clock, maybe sometimes 7:30, just depends on how late I go exactly. But I try to hit around 7 o'clock. That's when we actually do the giveaway. So if you don't submit before that 7 o'clock time frame, then it's too late and you'll have to wait until next week. So go ahead and get your entries in now while we're going through the news, while we're going through the tools, while we're answering questions, all of it. And then we'll do this at the end. Okay, guys. Well, I think that does it for the intros. Again, I'm super excited to get into today's news and especially the tool for today. So let's go ahead and just get right to it. So I'm going to back it up actually and take a quick look at this article here from OpenAI. So OpenAI announced they're introducing their trusted access for cyber. So their approach for enhancing baseline safeguards for all users while piloting trusted access for defensive acceleration. So it sounds like they're investing heavily into cybersecurity around their AI tools, which is really important as we go forward, because there are definitely ways to take advantage of these AI tools. One way, for example, is if you're using an AI to scan websites, people could potentially put like prompts inside their websites to mess with your AI and make it do things that you didn't want it to do. So those are types of things that are important that we do proper security research around, and we harden these things so that way we don't run into these problems that are unexpected for the end user. So they are expanding access to frontier models for their cyber defense. Let's see here. Okay. There will soon be many cyber-capable models with broad availability from different providers, including open white models. We believe it is critical that OpenAI's models strengthen defensive capabilities from the outset. They're launching a trust-based access pilot that prioritizes getting our most capable models and tools into the hands of defenders first. So this kind of sounds to me like as they're releasing new models, essentially they're going to be pushing these out to trusted individuals to test the system for vulnerabilities and so on and so forth. That's kind of the gist I'm getting from this. Looks like they have a grant program, so they're committing a certain amount of money and API credits for teams to be able to test. Okay, that's great. So I would expect we're going to see more and more security around these AI as we go forward. All right, let's move on to our next article here. So OpenAI is introducing their OpenAI Frontier. Let me make sure we're kind of zoomed in here so it's a little easier, hopefully, for you guys to read this too. AI has let teams take on things that they used to talk about but never execute. Okay, we've seen action. Okay, this is happening for AI leaders. They're introducing Frontier, a new platform that helps enterprises build, deploy, and manage AI agents that do real work. Frontier gives agents the same skills that people need to succeed at work: shared context, onboarding, and hands-on learning with feedback and clear permissions and boundaries. That's how teams move beyond isolated use cases for AI coworkers that work across their business. So these large companies, HP, Intuit, Oracle, State Farm, Thermo Fisher, and Uber, are the first to adopt it, and dozens of existing customers, including BBVA, Cisco, and T-Mobile, they've already piloted it. So that's super interesting. Let's kind of get a sense of what's going on here with this. Okay. It sounds like this is a platform for kind of managing these agents, essentially. All right. Companies are already overwhelmed with disconnected systems. AI that made that fragmentation more visible, more acute, now getting deployed everywhere. Okay. It's isolated, see what it can do. Okay, every new agent can add complexity instead of helping because it doesn't have enough context to do the job well. Excuse me, guys. Still getting over a little bit of a cold. As agents have gotten more capable, the opportunity gap, what models can do, what teams can do, okay, has grown. It's not driven by technology. Okay, so let's get into the meat, hopefully, of this. Teams don't just need better tools that solve pieces of the puzzle. They need help getting agents into production, end-to-end approach to build, deploy, and manage agents. Looking at how enterprises already scale people, they create onboarding processes, teach institutional knowledge, internal language, allow learning through experience, and improve performance through feedback. They grant access to the right systems and set boundaries. AI coworkers need the same things. Okay? They need understand how work actually gets done across systems. They need to access to a computer and tools to plan, act, and solve real-world problems. They need to understand what good looks like so quality improves. They need an identity, permissions, and boundaries that teams can trust. Yeah, that totally makes sense. So basically all the same stuff that you need if you join an org. That totally makes sense. This has to work across many systems, spread across multiple clouds. Okay. You can bring your existing data and AI together where it lives, as well as integrate the applications you already use using open standards, no new formats, banding agents or applications that you've already deployed. Okay. The superpower of this approach is that AI coworkers are accessible and useful through any interface, not trapped behind a single UI or application. That's key, because if it's only embedded in a single application, it's not going to be very useful for general purpose work. They can partner with people wherever work happens, whether it's through ChatGPT, workflows with Atlas, that's a browser. That's OpenAI's browser, or exist inside existing business applications. This is true whether agents are developed in-house, acquired from OpenAI, or are integrated from other vendors you already use. So this is their frontier platform. So they show here you have your systems of record, you have some business context on top of that, like shared context across data, systems, workflows. So, for example, let's say you're using a CRM, and then you've got like a separate billing software, and you've got, I don't know, like a payroll management software. Maybe you've got like an email system that's separate, and a separate document storage like for your SOPs and all these things. So that would be an example of like business context across systems. So agent execution sits on top of that. So this is kind of where the OpenAI frontier happens, it looks like. Model intelligence and tools for agents to plan, act, and recover real-world tasks. Evaluation optimization sits on top of that. Okay, optimization leads to improved performance. And then you've got enterprise security and governance designed for sensitive and regulated work. My goodness, it's going to be like this all night. Excuse me, guys. So that's going to be important, you know, if you're in healthcare or if you're in a bank situation, anything that's highly regulated. So then you've got your agents on top of this, OpenAI agents, third-party agents, whatever. Then you've got your interfaces like ChatGPT, Atlas, whatever other business applications you have. So this stuff sits underneath. That's kind of interesting. So every effective employee knows how this business works, where information lives, and what good decisions look like. Frontier connects siloed data warehouses, CRM systems, ticketing tools, and internal applications to give AI coworkers that same shared business context. They understand how information flows, where decisions happen, and what outcomes matter. It becomes a semantic layer for the enterprise that all AI coworkers can reference to operate and communicate effectively. So this is very, very interesting. So basically, they're just trying to find a way to unify all your systems, all your data, all these things, and give you relevant information across your systems, and then to not just give you relevant information, but actually to go do useful things in the long run. Super interesting. Let me pause here. Let me see if we've got any questions or comments in our chat. Okay, I'm not seeing anything from you guys. So if you do have questions or comments, make sure you drop those questions and comments in the chat, and I will see those pop up. I'm going to also check our little spreadsheet here for any longer questions that somebody has submitted to the forum. Okay. All right. So let's keep on going here. Okay. Man. Goodness. Sorry, guys. You're going to have to deal with all the coughing tonight. For some reason, my throat just went dry a little bit ago. All right. Plan, act, and solve problems. With the shared context in place, agents need to actually do the work. Okay. Teams across the organization, technical, non-technical, can use Frontier to hire AI coworkers who take on many of the tasks that people already do on a computer. Can reason over data, complete complex tasks, work on files, run code, use tools, all depend in a dependable open agent execution environment. Okay. As they operate, they build memories, turning past interactions into useful context that improves performance over time. That's awesome. Once deployed, AI coworkers can run across local environments, enterprise cloud infrastructure, OpenAI hosted runtimes without forcing teams to reinvent how work gets done. For time-sensitive work, it prioritizes low latency across their models, so responses stay quick and consistent. Okay. That is cool. So they got an example here. Let's see if we can start this thing from... Okay, I don't know if I can start this from scratch. They have some other things I can kind of scroll through here. Okay. So, create a new agent. So it's creating like this inbound sales agent. It has these skills, certain apps that it should have access to. Interesting. And then like a knowledge section. And it seems like it's pulling from the organization memory that it has, pulling from sales playbooks, things like that. This is super powerful. This is kind of the direction that I really expect us to go if we're talking about having AI employees. Let's see this next example. Okay, so it's kind of showing we're moving into a new office, need 40 chairs, 40 desks. Can you share if you get options, delivery? Okay, so that's a request, I guess, a new desk order that came in. That almost looks like an email inbox, and then it's just kind of showing the work that's being completed. Total cases, inbound sales. So that's an inbound sales app. Operations, cases. Interesting. Okay. This is definitely, this is super interesting. So they created this, I guess it almost seems like, because here in this example, they have the home inbox. So is this platform home inbox cases library? So is this like a whole UI, like a specialized UI that they've built on top, like as a platform? And then you just hook into this thing? It's kind of interesting if that's kind of what they did here. For agents to be useful over time, they need to learn from experience. Built-in ways to evaluate and optimize performance, make it clear human to human managers and AI coworkers. What's working, what isn't. Good behaviors improve over time. AI, over time, they learn what good looks like and get better at the work that matters most. Okay. This is how you move from demos to dependable teammates. Okay, so you get a rating. You can give it feedback. Very nice. Okay. Identity, permissions, boundaries. They operate within clear boundaries. They each have their own identity, explicit permissions, guardrails that makes it possible to use them confidently in sensitive and regulated environments. Enterprise security and governance are built in so teams can scale without losing control. That's huge. Let's see. Okay, so you have one of these agents and they're just kind of showing you. Oh, I can pause the thing. Let's kind of pause there. So, okay, you can control your permissions here. Okay, view the logs. You can see what apps it has access to. Very nice. Okay. Closing the gap isn't just a technology problem. Goodness. We've worked closely with large enterprises on complex AI deployments for years. We've seen what works and doesn't. Okay. They pair for deployed engineers with your teams. Okay. So this is really cool. Let's see what else. They've got a little bit more down here. So I think there are, okay, these are like examples of use cases. Like marketing campaign, the retailer wanted a fun on-brand way to engage consumers during marketing push while ensuring everything stayed safe. What we solved, we designed end-to-end solution, including prompts, guardrails, evaluations. Okay, consumers entered free-form text on a dedicated site. See, okay, interesting. The campaign generated over 280,000 custom images, driving strong consumer engagement and broad visibility for the brand. Okay. Opening the AI ecosystem. It works best in enterprise when the platform and applications work together. Because Frontier is built on open standards, software teams can plug in and build agents that benefit from shared context. This matters because many agent apps fail for the simple reason that they don't have the context they need. Data is scattered across systems, permissions are complex, integration becomes one-off project. Makes it easier to access the business context they need with the right controls so they can work inside real workflows from day one. For enterprises, this means faster rollout. Okay, so they're working with these small group who are committed to go deep. So this is not yet for the little guy. However, even if this is not for you, if you're a little guy, this is really for big enterprises. This is how you should be thinking. This is how you should be thinking about what is to come. And you should be planning so that way you can get ahead of the curve on this kind of stuff. Be prepared. Start building out other systems that could integrate with something like this in the future. And the reason is because if you have integratable systems, then when this finally does come down the pipe for you, you'll be ready and you'll be able to take your systems and plug them in. So you need to really take some time to think about, like, how do I organize? What are the right systems that can be integrated with? And how do I organize my information so that way it can be found and it can be interacted with? If you can do that, then you'll position yourself very well for when this stuff comes down the pipe for you. And you may even be able to get started on it if you can find somebody who kind of knows what they're doing. Maybe you can find another system that does a similar thing to this. But this is really big. This is, I've been saying for a while now that I think this is the year of like AI agents and AI employees, at least the start. This is one of the big pieces that's necessary. You need a platform that can sit on top of all your systems, and you have control over these things too for compliance reasons and things like that. Right now I'm working in a heavy compliance space, and so this kind of stuff is really top of mind for me right now. All right, let me check our comments here. No comments in our chat. I'm not seeing anything from you guys. Let me check our spreadsheet. Okay. Let's move on to our next article. So this was a big one. OpenAI just announced their GPT 5.3 codex. And so this is a model that is really for agentic coding. I know not everybody codes, but the reason this is a big deal is because this is having models that can code means that you can have models that basically can do real world things. So if you can have models that understand what it is that you want, turn it into code, and then you have something that can take that code and execute that code, you basically have models that can actually do real things in the real world, at least on like computers and things like that, systems. So this is actually really, really important. They're pushing this. So I think they have a thing in here that kind of makes that statement. You can kind of get in here and see the stats and all the numbers. I know not everybody really cares about that exactly. Let's see what other kind of things in here that they say. Okay, so they say kind of towards the end here that this is moving beyond writing code to using it as a tool to operate a computer and complete work end to end. By pushing the frontier of what a coding agent can do, we're also unlocking a broader class of knowledge work, from building and deploying software to researching, analyzing, executing complex tasks. So that's what I mean. What started as a focus on being the best coding agent has become the foundation for a more general collaborator on the computer, expanding both who can build and what's possible. And they've got data on here. You guys can go review all that data. We're not going to go through that. That's the nerdy stuff. But let's kind of see if we can get some cool little pictures here to look at. So they have this choose a track thing. Pick a racer. Okay, very interesting. Drift for speed. Fun. Okay. They created this little diving game. Interesting. Let's see what else it can do. Okay, they talk about websites. So, okay. interesting. So, oh, this is actually like a little clickable thing you can kind of look through. That's cool. Looks good. Okay, that's cool. So this was a big deal. We also saw alongside of this. So they kind of announced this GPT 5.3 Codex model. Alongside this, very interesting, we also had this announcement from Anthropic that they have introduced Claude Opus 4.6. And this is supposed to be, Opus is kind of like a longer running, longer thinking type model. It's very good for like doing complex tasks, which also means that this is generally a pretty good model for like coding. This is what I'm using on my day-to-day at the moment. So they've upgraded their smartest model. It improves on their coding skills, plans more carefully, sustains agentic tasks for longer, operate more reliably on larger code bases, has better code review, debugging skills, has improved abilities to range of everyday work tasks. So running financial analysis, doing research, using and creating documents, spreadsheets, and presentations. Within cowork, where Claude can multitask autonomously, Claude Opus 4.6 can use all these skills to work on your behalf. So this is even for the non-coders, guys. Like this cowork mode in Claude. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. So okay, hold on. It's making me. I'm running into a problem on my side, unfortunately. I might not be able to show it today, but oh, maybe that was it. Okay, continue. Okay, there we go. So let me kind of show this off. We went over this actually a while ago, and this was when it kind of first came out a couple weeks ago. They coded this new little section called Cowork inside of their desktop app, and it was only available to people on the Max plan at first. I'm not sure if it's still only available to people on the Max plan. You might have to just double check that. But this was pretty cool because you could actually have it, you could have this thing running. You don't have to open up a terminal, install a bunch of stuff. You just install the desktop app, and it was only for Mac for now. But you could open this thing up. You could say work in a specific folder. You could add your connectors to like tools that you actually want it to do stuff with. And then you kind of kick it off and you do your thing, and it goes and actually executes and does work on your behalf. And so this was really cool. So this new model, Opus 4.6, is going to be better, not just for coding, but it's better for doing this cowork type stuff for everyday person that needs to do some set of complex tasks. And this is very akin to basically what OpenAI is kind of pushing here on their 5.3. When these models are getting better, and this is the key, guys, as these models get better at being able to understand and write code and do those kinds of things, as they get better at those things, and as they add additional like training around other integration, like using tools, interacting with apps, interacting with your browser, stuff like that, it's just going to get better. It's just going to get better and better and better. It's going to get more accurate. It's going to be able to better understand what it is that you want to do. It's going to be able to do it in an automated way. So what I would be doing, if you're not a technical person, I would start learning how to write your processes. Write your processes as SOPs or playbooks, whatever you want to call them. They could be checklists, as simple as a checklist. Start writing your processes out, because you can then leverage those processes in a repeatable way by feeding them into the AI. And then you just say, hey, AI, I need you to go do these things. And if you need to copy them and put them into a different format for the AI, that's totally fine. Like, that's not a problem. The fact that you have them documented and you can reuse them over and over again, that's the key. And the reason I'm saying this is because it's the exact same principle with writing code. The whole reason that we write code is so that way when we have some given workflow that we want to be repeated over and over and over again, that code is written is written one way, and it's going to execute the same way every single time I run it over and over again. The same thing is true with written SOPs for these AI. You need to start thinking about these things, because if you don't, you are going to be missing out on a massive opportunity to automate things that maybe you typically would have a very difficult time with automating from a technical perspective, because this opens up a whole set of things that you can do with a computer without having to write all the code explicitly yourself. In fact, if you need the code written, you can ask it to write the code for the workflow. So if you can write out your processes and learn how to write them well, then you are going to be in a good position, a really good position. And then you can start basically building out your AI employee stack from there. So that's my perspective on this, guys. And I really think this is super important that you don't sleep on this. You need to start learning how to write a very simplistic, even just a very simplistic playbook or SOP, so that way you understand how to think through structuring your plan for the AI to actually run these things on your behalf. I mean, it's basically the same type of thing you would do if you were creating SOPs or playbooks for your employees. You're just doing them so that way you can hand them off to a machine. So let's get back to our screen here. So that was kind of the gist of it. I think that I really want to cover, I mean, there's a few more details here in Opus 4.6, which is kind of cool. Not as, maybe we just kind of glance through this a little bit, because some of this is really mostly for coders. You can kind of see for knowledge work how things are scoring. You know, they're comparing it against GPT 5.2, but we have now 5.3 codex, so whatever. One of the cool things here that they talk about is Claude Code. You can assemble agent teams to work on tasks together. On the okay, so they're introducing adaptive thinking, where the model can pick up on contextual clues about how much to use, and it's extended thinking. New effort controls give developers more control over intelligence, speed, cost. They made upgrades to Claude in Excel, releasing Claude in PowerPoint in a research preview. That's pretty cool. So okay, you're not hearing all the audio, the background sound and everything, but they're just kind of demonstrating how it can analyze these files. So it's putting together scenarios and spreadsheets. Very interesting. Putting it together in a PowerPoint for you. Okay, interesting. So that's useful. That's cool. I think that's going to be helpful for most people. Let's see. Anything else in here that's kind of helpful for folks? No, I think that's it. I think that's going to be it for this article here. So again, guys, like we're seeing this massive improvement in AI agents or AI employees, however, whatever you want to call them. People are using the word agent, but I'm thinking in terms of like, how are these useful day to day for us? I think of them as employees, virtual employees. And you should be doing the same thing too. You should be thinking about how to structure business for these virtual employees. Now, let's see if we have any questions, comments, or anything like that in our chat. I am not seeing anything. Okay. I'm not seeing anything over here either. Okay, let's get back to our final article here, and then we're going to get to our tool. And we got a little bit of time left before our giveaway. So our last article here, Claude is a space to think. So this is kind of interesting. This seems to be opposed to some of the stuff that OpenAI is doing right now. So OpenAI has recently started introducing ads in like a lower tier into ChatGPT. It gives access to ChatGPT to more people. They make more money, so on and so forth. But Anthropic has a counter viewpoint here. They say there are many good places for advertising. A conversation with Claude is not one of them. So it drives competition, helps people discover new products, allows services like social media to be offered for free. We've run our own ad campaigns, and our AI models have in turn helped many of our customers in the advertising industry. But including them in the conversations with Claude would be incompatible with what we want Claude to be. A genuinely helpful assistant for work and for deep thinking. So, very interesting that they put this article out. They go into depth on this. Very, very interesting that they call this out. So, Claude, they want to keep their tool. Their Anthropic wants to keep their Claude tools free from ads. You know what? I appreciate it. I appreciate it a lot. I actually use Claude for a lot of my stuff day to day, especially since I'm doing a lot of coding. But as we're seeing more of these developments around like AI agents, AI employees, those kinds of things, I probably will be using Claude as one of the primary drivers for my AI employees. OpenAI stuff might be pretty good too. Google stuff might be pretty good too. But I really appreciate all the work that Claude has put in. They seem to be on the forefront of like the code execution and like innovation around some of these tooling that kind of made the AI agents more feasible for this next year, these next couple years. They've created some of the standards around these things. So I like where Anthropic is going. I appreciate that they're not wanting to put ads in our stuff. So good on you, Anthropic. I'm looking forward to continuing to use your stuff. All right. So I think that does it for all of our AI news. We're going to go ahead and get into our section here on tools. Okay. So we're going to really hit on one tool tonight. As much as I enjoy Anthropic's tools, we are going to test out a new tool from OpenAI called Codex. Now, this is not to be confused with their Codex model. And it is not to be confused with the tool that you can use in the terminal today. So this is a new app that they have put out. In fact, let me see if I can actually pull up this article from OpenAI. We covered this, I believe, last week, like super briefly. So let me pull this up. You can go down to, if you go to their OpenAI news and you go down to introducing the Codex app. This is they've only, just, you know, this is really just built for Mac OS. The key here is that they have some very interesting things kind of built into this. So it's a new interface designed to effortlessly manage multiple agents at once, run work in parallel, and collaborate with agents over long-running tasks. So this sounds very similar to me to like the Claude co-work. What I want to do is I want to take a look at this and kind of get hands-on with it, see what it's really capable of, experiment with it a little bit tonight. And I think this looks like it is kind of oriented towards coding, except it doesn't seem like it's only useful for coding. It kind of seems like it might actually be useful for everyday people who just kind of want these agents to go out and do things for them. So we're going to kind of play with this a little bit tonight and see what it is really capable of doing. Does it make sense for somebody who's a business owner to use this kind of thing? That's what we're going to investigate tonight. If you want to get this tool to play with it yourself, you could probably just Google, if you go like Google, you say Open AI Codex. If you do something like that, their coding agent, let's see if that, does that take me? Okay. That's not really what I'm looking for. Let's say Open AI Codex. I think that was a sponsored link. Okay, that's a sponsored result. Is this it? Okay, this is it. This is it right here. So, yeah, this is the new tool. So you go to openai.com/codex, or you can go to the news article and you can download it here. Again, this is if you have Mac OS. At the moment, it seems like some of these tools are kind of limited to Mac OS. Like, again, I'm not sure if we were kind of looking at, like in the past, I've showed you guys this new co-work feature. At one point, it was limited to the Max plan, I think only on Mac OS. I'm not sure if they've improved this in Claude. So you may go double check this. For now, this one is just for Mac OS. Let's go ahead and take a look at it. You can get it downloaded. I've already got it downloaded, so I am going to pull this up on my side, and we are going to give this a shot to see what this thing is really capable of. Okay. So let's make sure that we have this here. Now, as you guys, again, like I said at the beginning, I am going through news, tools, and all through this, if you have questions about anything, could be related to what we're doing, could be unrelated, whatever, drop your questions, your comments in the chat on YouTube or Facebook, wherever you're viewing this. Excuse me. You have to deal with my coughing tonight because I'm still recovering from a cold. There is also a spreadsheet or like a form that's linked inside of the chat. If you have a much longer question, you don't want to have to type multiple chat messages, go to that form, fill it out. I'll see that come into my spreadsheet, and then I'll cover it there too. So I'll pause every so often to just kind of go back and forth. on that. One last thing, if you joined a little late and you want a chance to win Alex Hormozi's book, $100 Million Money Models, you can use this QR code. I also put the link in the chat. Go fill out that form now before I'm going to do this around 7 o'clock, maybe a little bit afterwards, but I'm going to do the giveaway, and I only do the giveaway during this live stream. The book itself is covered. The cost is covered of the book. You have to pay like $5 for shipping. You're not paying that to me. You're paying that to USPS or whatever the shipping company is, and Alex is shipping it straight to your door. So I'm giving away only up to 9 copies during these live streams. Once they run out, they're gone. So if you want one of those copies, then you need to go fill out that form ASAP, because I only do it during the live stream. I don't like take entries from this week and then roll them over the next week. You have to be here during this live stream for this giveaway. All right. So let's take a look at this thing. So again, this is OpenAI's new tool called Codex. We're going to just kind of play around. We're going to explore and kind of see what this thing can do. So the first thing, so I've already kind of opened up this new project called MemeBot. I was like, oh, okay, this would be fun if I can get this thing to generate memes for me that maybe it can post to my social media for me or whatever. So this is kind of what you get when you first open it. You have to like choose a project. And so that's the project folder. You get these threads. Okay. So new threads. Interesting. So you get your project here. You get threads under that. You can add a new project. Looks like you can add skills. So skills are going to be like things that the agent can actually do. Like, for example, you might have a skill that says, I don't know, open Facebook, or you might have a skill that's like, go read my emails, whatever it is. You might have those kinds of things. Then you might have these automations. And my understanding of this is that these are scheduled. These are like scheduled. Yeah. So automate work by setting up scheduled threads. So you can set up certain things to execute on certain time frames, like once a week, on Mondays at 6 p.m. or whatever. And you create an automation. So if we do that, you can create a name for it. You choose if you want, you choose your name. If you want an automation to run on a specific branch, you specify it in your prompt. Okay, so that's my thing. Looks like, okay, that's kind of code oriented. I think most people are going to know what a branch is, but in coding land, there's a tool called Git, G-I-T, which just is a tool that helps you manage the versions of your code. Like, so you can have on your computer, you can have different versions of your code alongside each other. You have like a history, and you can share that with other people as well. So it makes it easy for you to like share code, update code with your team without breaking things, that kind of thing. So a branch is just like a separate, if you think of it like a tree structure where you have like versions at each point of the tree, the branch is just like a split off from that, which might have its own version alongside of it. Hopefully that made sense to you. If not, that's okay. So we've got our project, and then we specify like our prompt here. So this is what you want it to do. And then you specify your schedule. So like what time, what day of the week, on a daily basis. You could do this on an interval basis, like every 24 hours. Looks like you can't go lower than that. So you can go on an hour. Let's see if I can go down. If I say 1, can I go down below 1? Can I say 0.5? No, I can't do that. So you can only go down to an hour at the smallest. You can orchestrate it, looks like at specific times on certain days as well here. So that's interesting. They run with your default sandbox settings. Tool calls will fail if they require modifying files outside the workspace, accessing network, or working with apps on your computer. You can selectively allow list commands to run outside the sandbox using rules. Okay. Interesting. So that opened up like a whole... let me see if I can share that. Clicking that little rules thing opened up a whole page here for me. So you can control which commands codecs can run outside of the sandbox. So this is going to let you do more complex things. And that's just basically this thing is going to create like a little sandbox around your folder that you give it access to. So that way it can't go and do things that break your computer. So that's kind of the point here. So it looks like you can adjust that. Okay, they run in the background. Codex adds findings to the inbox or automatically archives the task if there's nothing to report. Okay, makes sense. So that's the automations feature. What about our skills here? So, okay, you can give it superpowers. So you can create new skills, install curated skills from OpenAI skills or other repos. Okay. Okay, these are, by default, the skills are from this place. Experimental skills live in the experimental. Use helper scripts based on the task. Okay. Okay. Disable. Try. What if I hit try? What does that do? Oh. Oh, so does this let me install other skills? Okay, interesting. So that kind of describes, I guess, interesting. Okay, Cloudflare deploy. Develop web game. Figma. Yeah, so they basically, these are like connections, you know, to like different tools. Okay, screenshots. Okay, you can generate Sora videos. Cool. Okay. Transcribing. Nice. Okay, speech. Generate narrated audio from text. Okay, so these are map maintainers, but bus factor, sensitive code ownership. Interesting. I'm not really sure exactly what that is. Okay, PDFs. You can read PDFs, do stuff like that. Opening. Okay. So lots of little coding related things here. But in theory, you could have all sorts of things here. docx files are in here, for example. Okay, that's interesting. So let's say I go back here to a new thread. So it looks kind of similar here to like ChatGPT. I can choose my model. Interesting that right now I'm not seeing the GPT 5.3 model. I wonder if I can like change that. So let's kind of look here. Okay, prevent sleep while running, follow up behavior. Okay. Configuration. I guess this is one of the places I can change the rules. Let's see here. Personalization. Okay, so I can change how I want it to respond. I can give it like custom instructions. MCP servers. Interesting. So I actually have like an Atlassian server that I've already got. And so it looks like it picked that up and it's just automatically kind of there. Very interesting that that's there. I can add servers here. Okay, that's cool. So we can add new MCP servers. So these are for like, if you got like a third-party service, you can connect it in that way. So that's one way. You can use skills as another potential way to do it. Skills won't take up as much of your context window. So there's trade-offs. Okay, we got get. Okay, prefix when creating new branches inside of Codex. Commit instructions. Okay, environments. Okay, these are how to set up work trees. Okay, so that's a very coding-centric type of thing. No work trees yet, but I could create work trees if I wanted to like run multiple things at the same time. So let's see what else, what other options do we have here? Okay, we can change our level of reasoning. Default permission. Okay, so we can have the default permission running in the sandbox. We can give it full access if we want. We can trigger this thing to create a repository. Looks like we can dictate. So if I do opt M, is that it? Oh no, shift M. I don't. Is this shift M? Opt M. This isn't. I'm not really sure. I'm a little confused about what that shorthand is, and maybe I've got something blocking it. Let's see what else we can do. Okay, we can turn on plan mode. We can add photos and files. We've got / commands. Okay, so we can see MCP server status. We can give it feedback. We can ask for a code review, personality, interesting skill creator. So I can create or update a skill. I can use the skill installer. I see. So looks like. Okay, so those are my installed skills. And so if I installed some of these other skills, that's going to kind of determine what other little / commands I can use. Interesting. All right, so let's say and you can use like @ to specify files. Okay, so let's say I'm going to try the audio because I'm really curious about how well this audio is going to work. I've tried it in like, I've actually tried the audio in the Google's anti-gravity tool, which seems kind of similar to this in some ways. It's built on Visual Studio Code. But theirs didn't work very well. I had all sorts of problems with it. So let's see how well this works. I want to create a meme generator bot that can take things that pertain to my audience and create funny memes that get posted twice a day on all my social media platforms. I have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and YouTube. My audience is primarily for small business owners and investors, but may include employees or other individuals who want to learn how to use AI to get back their time and grow. Okay, so it's processing the audio. This is pretty painful. I wish it was faster. Yikes. That's painful. All right, well, while that's doing its thing. All right. It's got an open option. Okay. So I guess I can open my project in one of these things. I see. Okay. Interesting. Let's see what other feature. Toggle terminal. Okay, so we can do our little terminal from inside here as well. And then toggle our diff panel. Okay, so this is going to help us to see our changes. Okay. Interesting. Yeah, you know, this feels very coding oriented, and it's interesting. It's got these threads. I guess the question is, the question I'm having is like, because I've used like the codex, you know, command line tool, the codex CLI, and you know, it's pretty good. I guess what I'm trying to figure out is what are some of the things here that kind of differentiate it from, I mean, maybe it's just the ease of the interface. You know, you can add your skills. Being able to add the automations is kind of nice around these things. I mean, I was still waiting for that thing to take my audio and then translate. It never did it. I'm a little frustrated about that. Because this is the second app that's been like this too. Google Anti-Gravity was the same way. I could not get the dictation to work. The dictation is not working here. We'll try it one more time. I want to create a bot that will help me generate memes for my audience on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn. The memes need to pertain to AI and automation and be based on existing memes that are well known. Oh, okay, here we go. Unable to I don't know why it's unable to. Okay, well, let's just try this and see where we're at. Before we move forward, though, we are a little past 7 now. And I promised that I was going to do a giveaway. So we're going to go ahead and do our giveaway real quick. Let me check give me a second here, guys. I'm gonna go over to my system and I'm gonna see what individuals have submitted to our form for the evening, and then we're gonna go from there. So let me go to my form. Again, this is for this giveaway that I mentioned earlier. I only do these giveaways during the live stream, so if you have not yet submitted your entry into the giveaway, it is unfortunately for you too late to do so unless you are literally doing it right this second before I click this button. All right. Okay, guys, we don't have any entries for the giveaway today, so I am going to roll over our giveaway to next week. If you didn't get a chance to enter and you do want to enter for the giveaway, then you'll need to come next week. Again, I only do that during this live stream, so you have to have the unique code from the live stream. You have to go enter, and then I give away during the end of the live stream. If you didn't win, that's okay. We have 9 more copies to give away. Just remember, once they're gone, they're gone. All right, we're just gonna kind of wrap it up there, and let's just try this and see how this goes. I don't want to take a long time to kind of go over this. You know, I feel like I got a good sense of most of this tool already here. And so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to see if I can manually kick this thing off and see what happens. Select reasoning. Okay, so for everyday tasks is medium, for reasoning depth, complex problems, high reasoning depth for high complex. Okay, let's say I want it really high. Let's say I want to create a meme generation bot that will help me create memes for my audience on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, based on popular memes and around the topic of AI, automation, business, and investing. Let's say here, AI and automation. Let's say AI, automation, systems, and processes for businesses and investing. We need to have functionality that will one, generate the daily meme on some cadence. Two, post the meme on my behalf automatically, even if it's through an AI agent connected to my browser. These are all personal accounts, so some may not have an API integration that can be used, like Facebook. All right. So, oh goodness, I gotta log out and sign in again. I have no idea why that's the case. Give me a second here, guys. Enter an API key. Hold on. Okay, I'm signed in through ChatGPT. All right, let's see if that did it. Okay. So, okay, I'm going to say try again. Okay, here we go. Okay, so it's asking me a bunch of questions. Let me see if I can zoom in. Oh, I could have done that this whole time. You guys would have had a better time reading this. So it's asking me for information. Let's say here. Let's make it mostly full auto, but with a human in the loop right before posting. 2. Let's go with a daily cadence to start, but it should be adjustable for the future. Let's see here. No particular rules. Just follow the topics and adjust the meme appropriate meme accordingly. YouTube community, Facebook, personal feed, Instagram feed, Reels, stories, LinkedIn, personal feed. Probably won't do LinkedIn, but you know, whatever. Yes. Browser automation is fine. Okay. Go. So one thing I could do is I could have this, I could see if I could have this generate the skills like for this thing. So, and then I could set it up potentially on an automation and then just kind of, I could use, I might even be able to just use this app as kind of the thing that runs it all. And then we just have the little bits of code that actually do the thing. Like generate the meme or whatever. So that might be possible. I'd have to explore it a little bit to kind of see what's really feasible here. Very interesting that is an option. These chat interfaces, like with some of these additional things kind of built around them, really kind of make it really kind of changed the way I think about working with apps. You know, not everything needs like a super fancy UI. Like if I'm just trying to issue commands, it's totally fine to have a very basic type of chat app as long as I've got some of the supporting features like the automations or skills and things like that around it. Looks like it's writing to the files. This might be going on for a while. All right, guys. Well, I think I'm going to go ahead and end our live stream here for the evening. This is very interesting as an experiment. I'm going to kind of maybe play with this just a little bit more on the side. What I may do here is just kind of see if I can like even leverage just that interface and have it write skills for me to do those things, and then just kind of have it run on some cadence. And that may be the way I want to do it. I think the problem will be if I want to run it more frequently, like twice a day or something like that. I don't think. I mean, maybe I could schedule like 2 separate automations. Actually, that might be the way forward on that. Maybe I could just layer it, and then I could get really, you know, as many as I want. So I don't know, but I think we're just going to have to end it there. One last thing I want to leave you guys with. If you enjoyed our live stream this evening and you want to be able to get notified when we have future live streams, well, I have some very good news for you. I have a reminder email that goes out 24 hours before we do these sessions, and then 10 minutes before we do these sessions. If you want to sign up for that reminder email, then you can do that at the link that I'm sharing in the chat on both YouTube and Facebook. Go to that form, fill it out, and then you will be able to join us without any way, well, not without any way to forget. You'll get a nice little reminder in your inbox that we're meeting. So if that's something that you'd like, go ahead and sign up for that reminder email at that QR code or in the link that I provided you in the chat. Otherwise, thank you guys for coming this evening. As always, it is a pleasure to be here, to hang out with you guys, to answer your questions, to go over these tools and the news with you. I love getting to learn alongside with you. So thank you for being here. If you're watching later, thank you for taking the time to go through and watch. I hope it was helpful to you. As always, thank you guys, and take it easy. Bye-bye.